Hi, I'm Diane with Greater American Construction. Welcome to the Youth Spotlight program. We're happy you tuned in. We are pleased to partner with Spokane Talks Online to promote this wonderful new program. My husband and I started Greater American Construction over 23 years ago. We are a small family-owned remodeling contractor specializing in siding, windows, and roofing. Our focus has been beautifying residential homes in and around the Spokane area. Along with our dedicated foremen, who have been with our company for an average of 13 years, we pride ourselves on customer satisfaction. We have found Spokane is still a small community and feel the clients we've partnered with over the years will remember us long after they sell their home because of our relationships we've built. Greater American Construction supports many community organizations to include Girl Scouts, the Jonah Project, Chase Youth Foundation, Gonzaga Basketball, Miss Spokane, and many others. We are very excited to be part of the Youth Spotlight program by partnering with Spokane Talks Online and can't wait to see what our outstanding youth are doing here in our community. Please enjoy the segment and call Greater American Construction for all of your windows, siding, or roofing needs. Thank you.
Hi everyone, and thanks for joining us on this June edition of Youth Spotlight, brought to you by the Spokesman Review and Spokane Talks Media. We are very fortunate to have the June nominee with us right now, Ilina Logani from Gonzaga Prep High School. Didn't want to mess that up. Okay, Alina, first of all I can say is wow. You are really the role model student that I think we all strive to be. Reading through some of the things that you have done, you have scored a perfect 800 on your SAT literature exam. You're a 4.0 student. You're taking incredible courses at Gonzaga Prep, or were, as now you've graduated. But really just the student that we all strive to be, and I think, first of all, just kudos to you for that. But before we kind of dive into that, I want to backtrack and talk about how you are a pretty well-traveled gal. You've lived in a lot of other places, not just Spokane. So kind of tell us the story there. Where did that all happen?
Sure. I was born in Detroit, Michigan. Lived there for approximately a year, moved to New York, lived there for approximately a year. So I don't really remember the two of those. I do remember Atlanta, Georgia, which is where I grew up. And I moved to Spokane when I was about 10. So I lived in Atlanta about 8 years before moving here. Mm-hmm. And then my parents immigrated from India, and so that's a whole nother country aspect to that. Yeah.
Neat. So you have always gone to Gonzaga Prep, though, for high school.
For high school, yes.
High school. And so what are the kinds of courses you've taken? Have you taken AP courses? I know you've taken really rigorous courses.
Yeah, I kind of go by the motto of go for whatever will challenge me, because I like basically everything. It's my problem. I can't decide on anything. And so I'll try to take the hardest courses and whatever interests me.
And it's easier when you're passionate about it.
Yeah, definitely.
If you really like what you're learning about.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So you have done some pretty incredible things in your high school career, one of which you were one of 60 students around the world to be selected in a really prestigious summer program. So why don't you tell us about that and what that is?
Yeah, the Tellarite Association summer program, which I went there and it blew my mind. Honestly, I still consider it one of the best decisions I've ever made to apply there. But it's a summer program that essentially it's a 6-week summer scholarship in one of 2 universities. So last year's mine was at Cornell, but the other branch was in University of Michigan. And you have 2 seminars in each college. And so I was accepted to a creative writing seminar in Cornell, but there were 3 other seminars going on at the same time. And I was actually living in the same frat house with the other 13 kids who were in the other seminar. So there were about 27 of us in Cornell last summer.
Wow.
And yeah, it was mind blowing. I was among people from all over the world, actually.
And so what did you do at the summer program?
Right.
What types of things did you guys do?
Yeah, so it has 3 pillars. Intellectual inquiry, self-governance, and community service. And so you kind of do all 3 of those, where you're in the same area for 6 weeks is the self-governance part. Is you're given a budget, and all 27 of you are like living by yourself, managing yourself for those 6 weeks.
Wow.
You're kind of guided by 2 factotums, as they call it, but they're not really there to tell you what to do, just to make sure you're being safe.
That's really neat.
And then the intellectual inquiry, of course, is a seminar where we talk not only about creative writing and literature from a diverse array of voices, but also about social justice issues in the United States. So we talked a lot about marginalized groups and racism, sexism, all of that stuff. And then in terms of community service, we had 2 community service projects that I actually organized while I was over there, and that's the community service aspect of TASP, where we have to partake in 2 projects over the summer.
That's really neat, and it sounds like very hands-on.
Very
definitely
hands-on.
an experience that not every student gets.
No.
And, like I said, you scored a perfect 800 on your SAT literature exam, and that is also incredible, because I can't tell you how small of a percentage of high school students across the country can score a perfect on their literature exam. So kudos to you for that. Yeah, I cannot tell you how amazing that really is. So you mentioned that the Spokane Indian community has actually been a really big part of your life. So how so?
How so? They kind of form a large extended family for me, because ever since I moved here, I've just kind of grown into and with the Spokane Indian community. And so it's been really great, going every weekend and having a large group of people who relate to me ethnically, culturally, traditionally, etc. As well as having a community which I can celebrate traditional Indian holidays with every year, volunteer with, babysit the kids for.
Right.
It's just a great extended family, as I said.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got to ask. So what are your plans after high school? I know it's a big question. For the longest time, I hated being asked that too, because, in that mode where you're kind of in limbo, waiting to hear back from a lot of schools, and you're like, you haven't really decided exactly where you're going to go.
Yeah.
So I think now you do know where you're going in the fall, though.
Yes, I'm heading over to Emory University down in Atlanta, where I did grow up. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to major in yet, but I'm kind of torn between STEM fields such as neuroscience and genetics, but also poli-sci and international relations. So I'm kind of torn. I'll have to go there and pick which one.
Neat. And what do you see yourself doing in 5-10 years as a career?
I'm planning on attending grad school, and so still learning, studying. I may take a break between undergrad and grad. As a career, I'm not sure yet. It ranges anywhere from journalism to law to neuroscience, like I said, so I have to pick, and I will be picking in the next year. You
know what's great, though, is that you are so skilled and talented, and you have some ideas, so no matter what you go into, you will have the right mentality and attitude and work ethic to do well. So I wish you the very best in all of that.
I need that.
And before we go, I want to know, what are the words that you think you live by? Is there a phrase that you tell yourself, this kind of defines me?
That's a difficult one. My mom always tells me the time you spend complaining about something could be used to fix it, or it could be used to move on from what you are complaining about. And so I kind of live by that as well. Right. I really look up to her, and that's definitely one of my life mottos is, heck, the time I could be working towards a solution, whether that's a large solution such as global hunger or social justice issues, or even tiny things such as passing my next test, could, instead of complaining about what I have to do, I could just be doing it and then saving my time complaining for something else.
It's funny because a lot of my peers will say, oh, I need to, study for that test. I need to study for that test. But while they're complaining for it, they could actually be doing it. So
exactly.
Those are great words to live by. Ilina, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I wish you nothing but the best. I know you'll be very, very successful. You've already proven that in your high school career. And we thank you for joining us, too, on this June edition of Youth Spotlight, brought to you by the Spokesman Review and Spokane Talks. We do want to thank our great sponsor, Greater American Construction, for sponsoring this series, honoring youth in our region each month. We'll see you in July's Youth Spotlight. See you later.